Okay, I'm back again. Sorry about that, but somehow I managed to end the video instead of just pausing it. Anyway, so I've torn my masking tape up. I've put a few bits on it. Not sure whether I'm liking them at this point, but that's where we're at. I've got a couple of different colour pieces around the place. And yeah, let's hope that that's how it works. Okay, so the next dot, or the next piece of what's the word I'm looking for, next prompt, is to use a background or textured stamp on objects. And you're going to ink it with ink, or you could ink it with paint. Doesn't really matter. So I've got this background stamp here from Kaisercraft. Again, handy because I only bought it the other day when we went to Kaisercraft. So it's still sitting in this bag over here on my dining room table. And some StazOn ink. I'm using StazOn ink because it's permanent, and just in case I decide later on down the track that I'm going to spray something on it again, I don't want it to run. So I'm just inking it up off camera here so you can't really see it. And I'm just going to use the kind of rolling method so that I just get some little bits and hope that it kind of works. Just put some more stamp ink on it. It's really hard trying to hold the tab with one hand and film, and do this with one hand as well, and actually be able to see around the camera to where I'm going. So I admire all you ladies who do this on a regular basis. So I'm just going to put a bit on the edge of the masking tape, or on some of the masking tape as well, just so it ties in a bit more with the background. Alright, I think that will do me. Put maybe a bit more on here, on this purple one. Alright, so I've got, you can use whatever background type texture you like. You can use a commercial stamp, or you can maybe use one of those ones you've made yourself, or maybe just use, something you've got hanging around the kitchen, or, a circle or something like that. Okay. Alright, so next step was to where did I see? Find, okay, so you've got to use some metal or wood pieces between 1 and 3, or up to 3, combination of metal and wood, or just one or the other, as your focal piece. Okay, so we're not putting any pictures or anything else on this piece. We're just using some 3D type of embellishment. So some metal or some wood pieces, and you need to attach it, or the task is to attach it with either staples or stitches. Okay, so I'm using, now I've lost it. Where is it? Oh, okay, I've got it here. I have had this wooden cross hanging up downstairs in my craft room, as the people in this house call it, for quite a long time. And then just recently, those of you who watch my op shop hauls will see I bought this metal cross in an op shop for a few cents. And so I've just stuck that on to the wooden cross here. The wooden cross is nicely distressed, and I just rubbed a little bit of gold sort of ink on it in places yesterday as well. And I've left the little hanging thing. I used to have wire through here. I've left that in there because, I don't know, I thought maybe later on I might put another piece of material through it or something. But anyway, at this moment I've left it on. So, and I'm also kind of thinking about putting on somewhere this chain that this was hanging on. I haven't really decided on that yet. So I'm going to stick this piece on here, and I'll think about putting the chain on. And I'm going to sew it on, okay, with a piece of thread. So I'm going to just put it on pause again. Hopefully this time this will work, and see how I go. Okay, I've stitched on my cross, and I decided not to use the bead part of the chain. I've just used the chain, and I've just circled it around in no particular order and just sewed it on with a few long stitches. And some of the ink or the uh, sprays that I used originally for dripping the what's his name, Ken Oliver colour bursts have kind of reactivated a bit, so there's a bit of green come up in the chain as well, but that's fine. I'm happy with that. Okay, now the next step was to find a quote from Shakespeare and use it on your piece. So obviously, if you've read through the instructions first and you know what you're going to put on your piece, then you may have already picked out a quote that suits your piece. Or you might just pull one out of a hat at this point and put it on there. It doesn't really matter. So I've found one and I've just printed it out on my Dymo machine. So again, this is going to be a bit difficult to do, especially since I haven't got it turned the right way. Okay, let me just have a go at this. It says... the evil, oh sugar, it's really hard to do this. And I'll put it up in front of the thing. I'll just stick it between a couple of bottles or something. Having trouble here, ladies. Excuse all the waltzing around. By now you're probably getting seasick. Anyway, I can't do it on camera. It's too difficult. Let me see. I'll just put this here for the moment. And it says, the evil that men do lives after them. The good is often interred with their bones. Okay, so I'm just going to cut the two pieces in half. And I'm going to put one at the top and one at the bottom of my page. And I know you're just looking at the back of my bottle at the moment, but that's the best I can do at this point. So I'm just going to... Sorry, I didn't think through that very well. I should have kept it on pause till I got it on. Anyway, here we go. And it says, the evil that men do lives after them. The good is often interred with their bones. So it's a quote from Shakespeare, and I quite like that. So you need to find your own quote and put it on however you like. Okay. So the next step is to add some ink all around the outside at edge of the piece, and add some shading if your piece requires some shading somewhere, and you can do that. I probably would put some shading around the outside of these white. These are from my Dymo machine, but I'm not sure that this paint's going to take it, but I will try later on. And I'm just going to use that brown StazOn ink to go around the edges of it, and again I'll do that off camera. And the last thing is to use your or use a coffee mixture. So you know, heat up your water and mix it with a spoon of coffee. You can either put it into a little spray container or you can splash it on, depending on what you like. So just spray some coffee spray wherever you would like on your piece. I've just put a spoonful of coffee in one of these little tiny spray bottles, and I'm just going to spray some just around, maybe across some of this writing, just to sort of give it a bit of a match into the rest of it, and maybe some a little bit up here. Okay, just so that it sort of sits in a bit. I might just drip that a bit. There we go. And that's just made for, like I said, a couple of spoons of coffee, like I said, or a spoon really, and only a small bottle, and just some water. Make sure your coffee is hot when you make it. It doesn't matter that it's got cold now, but It does actually give you a nice darker colour if you mix it with hot water as opposed to mixing it with cold water. Just put a bit more on there. Okay, and like I said, I will ink around the outside and I will come back in a few minutes. Great, I'm back. Here's my piece of finished work. It's probably a bit darker than what I intended it to be when I originally started out. But, you know, it is what it is. And I'll probably end up doing another piece before the end of the month. Good luck with your pieces in the challenge. And look forward to seeing them if you choose to post. Please do. We all look forward to seeing other people's work. And no criticism. There's no pressure, but we'd love to see them if you do. Thank you. Good luck. Bye-bye.